Hello and welcome to this next video in my series in which we are looking at getting started with OpenInsight 10. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the QuickHelp Builder, how we can quickly create help messages and enable our users to add their own comments to those to build up a really nice help file. So I'll be back with this video right after these few short words. Hello, you're listening to Martin, and this is my next video in which we are getting started with OpenInsight 10, and as I mentioned we're going to be looking at the QuickHelp Builder. Now, a couple of lessons ago I did say that we would look at the progress bar builder. We are still going to get to that hopefully in the next lesson, but I want to add a QuickHelp message onto that progress bar. And it's a bit of a chicken and egg, which comes first, the progress bar or the QuickHelp? Well, to drop the QuickHelp on, I need to build that first, and that's why we are going to do that in this lesson. So if we go for New, Windows UI Tools, QuickHelp Message, that will launch the QuickHelp Message Builder. So this dialog here, this window here. It's a very simple interface. It's made up of the title prompt where we can put a title in. So I'm going to call this QuickHelp Loading Data Grids. And I'm going to have, or I've previously decided that I'm going to have a standard. So all of my QuickHelp windows are going to be QuickHelp with a hyphen and then some text about what that QuickHelp is. So in this instance it's going to be for loading data grids. We then have the toolbar where we can format our text, so bold, italic, underlined. We can justify it, we can add bullets, we can set the size, the family, and we've got some specific fonts set up in here. We can indent, we can add images, hyperlinks, set colors, a whole load of different things that we can do in here. All very straightforward, so I'm not going to go through all of those individual components. On the properties we have some defaults, so it's going to be displaying sort of top left. We've got a width 750 and a height 480. I'm going to leave those. Modal basically means that we will need to close down the window before we can work with any other part of our application. We can set it to read only if we wish, so that would mean that the users couldn't make any changes. In this instance I want them to make a change, so I'm going to leave that as false. And then we've got the default font information for our window and the frame size, etc. So if we then look at the main part of our window, I'm going to choose a heading of 1 from the font format, and I'm just going to put into here loading data grids, and underneath that we will have a horizontal rule, and then I'm going to drop back to the paragraph font, which is a smaller one, and the font family I'm going to use Sigoi, or however you pronounce that, and then we can just start adding in our text. So the progress bar is displayed whilst the applications data grids for companies contacts, make that a C, opportunities, the hot list and communications are loaded. The progress bar is displayed because it can take a minute or two for all of the data grids to populate with data. Now, I've let you sit and watch me type that in because I wanted you to know that in this particular interface, the text is actually run off the side of the available space here. Now, I could have put a carriage return in there. That was just a control and return. But if I now test run that, you'll see that the data is wrapped correctly, but it doesn't wrap correctly because I've put my carriage return in after the 2. So if we go back into our interface and we make it correct and we test run, you'll now see that that displays quite nicely now where the text is wrapped appropriately. Now, for this particular QuickHelp, I want to have a graphic in here. So because the graphic is going to be of the progress bar, which I haven't created yet, I'm just going to add an image placeholder. So image here in there. Now we'll drop down one more, come back to that in a moment. So the progress bar, actually, rather than leaving me to type all of that in, I'm going to copy that in from elsewhere. And again, we'll just get rid of the returns. Let's just make sure that and if we do a test run, then that's fine, but you can see here that we've got an inconsistency. So I'm just going to select all of that and set that to paragraph, and I think we'll set the font to 10. That will do. And in here I'm going to set the font to 8, and I want to have figure 1 representation of the progress bar displayed whilst the data grids load with data. Okay, so I think that's fine. I'm going to change this to be purple, which is wrong because when you get an error condition it will display red, but that will do for the moment. I'll explain in the next video why that is thus. So we now do a test run. That is basically our QuickHelp done. So if we then close out of there, and if we do a save and close, we're under QuickHelp messages. Because we haven't got any already created, I'm going to add mp underscore QHMSG underscore, and I'll just change that to loading data grids. That will be fine. So if we then do OK, then we are good. Actually, before we disappear, if we just open up that loading data grids again, one of the buttons that I ought to bring your attention to is the last one, which is edit HTML. Now, in creating all of this text, what we've actually done is we've created a small HTML file behind the scenes. Now, this is all text, so you can see we've got our H1 tag, then loading the data grid, closing the H1 tag, then we're into the P for the paragraph, setting the font style that we wanted, and then our text, etc., and then closing everything off at the end. We will in a moment be editing this in real time. So if I was to OK that, at the moment when I do a test run, you'll see that we've got this close and save button. Now, earlier in the video you probably noticed that the save button wasn't showing. It shows after you've saved it and added it in. I don't quite know why, but the save button appears a little bit later on. but that enables the users to then bring this help up and then add to it. And I want to show that in a working scenario rather than in this design mode. So if we just close out of there, that is effectively our quick help message done, that we're going to then use on the progress bar window for loading the grids, and that's going to be the subject of the next lesson. So I'll see you then. Take care. Bye bye.